Well, warm greetings to our guests, Miss Verlene Pitts. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Co-host, how you doing? Ivan, how you doing?
I'm doing very well today. Yesterday was my youngest daughter' birthday, so
I
I
saw that.
we
I
we
saw
said
that, and I
we,
and I wished her happy birthday remotely.
yeah. So we had a long night. We had this conversation after the little fun.
I can
So
imagine.
yeah, I struggled to wake up this morning, but I'm here.
You're here.
Yeah,
Well,
well, well,
Verlene
happy
and I,
birthday to her.
yeah,
yes, Verlene and I have our coffee on
yeah.
spot. If your wife is listening, she'll get you the same. Co-host, you and I are privileged this morning to hear Miss Pitts make her presentation regarding her journey, past, present, and future, in becoming the very best version of herself, which she, assuming her mental acuity remains intact, will only become full-fledged whenever she's dead. So,
Yes.
in order to pay her undivided attention, we will erase the chalkboard of our memory, this or that previous knowledge of her, or the Mr. Who that may be related to her. We will listen to her from our creator genius side. Everybody has one. Some only needing to activate it.
That's right. That's right.
You see, society has been terrible at allowing this creator genius process for individuals to become the very best version of themselves. Even here in Belize, the education system you see is mostly about memory, working from memory, reading books. The teachers come into the classroom, the first thing they do is quote this one or quote that one. They don't share from their experience. Hence the reason AI is putting a lot of people out of work. So we will use our creator genius side. It's wrong-headed for the education system, because it's so competitive. It wants people to reach a gold standard, to compete for the gold standard, and to live their lives by comparison, which is a terrible way to live. So neither is anyone better than our guest, Verlene, male or female, or is she better than any? She was born and created an individual like us, like we are, and as such, indivisible. One of a kind. Therefore, in becoming most competent in her craft, one she loves and enjoys doing, she then separates herself with her unique product and contribution to her countries, Belize, the US, where she's residing and is a citizen, and the world by extension. Miss Pitts, take it away.
Hi, good morning. So I'm definitely not here because I figured it all out. But I know you asked me to share a little bit about myself. Um, and um, and so I wanted to, come on and chat a little bit. And you're saying past, present, and future. And so in figuring it out, the future will probably be a lot shorter on talking about the future because we figure it out as we go, right? So past for me, I am, like you said, from Belize. um I was born in Belize City, grew up in Belmopan. I am Garifuna, I am a child of a land surveyor and a college lecturer. So growing up in Belmopan, I think that we had a lot of exposure to governance, a lot of exposure to um, the leaders in the country at the time, and so I had a lot of opportunity to join groups that were leadership building. So the Brownies, the Girl Guides, youth groups that were political leaning. And so I think early on, because I had opportunities to see leadership and then also to try my hand at leadership, I really have a passion for leading in whatever way I can. So whether I'm selected or nobody wants to step up, I often find that that's something that I'm willing to do. And then in understanding leadership, I also think that I'm always prepared to have others lead. So either willing to lead or willing to have others lead. What else about the past? Um, of course, all of my schooling was in Belmopan, all the way through UB, and I left Belize and did my master's at Valdosta State in Georgia. That was in 2000, which would have made me leave Belize now for what, 26 years. But I go back as often as possible. I feel very connected to Belize and what happens in Belize. Present, presently, I work for Progressive Insurance, and I am a project manager, and so I am in roles where I'm having to lead others in accomplishing different types of projects, small, medium, and large projects. Progressive is a huge company, and so I have a lot of fulfillment from being able to have that type of impact enterprise wide as far as the company goes. A lot of the skills that I pick up at work, I feel like I find a way to translate it into my personal life. And so there is a lot of work that I do outside of project management at Progressive that gets put into efforts to contribute back to Belize. So, for example, right now, working on a diaspora summit, and it is going to be in Belize, July 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And this is the third summit. So it is the Belize Diaspora Summit 3.0. And the last two summits have been really interesting. They've been really worthwhile. And so we're taking an iterative approach where every single time we're looking to improve it. The future, I would say, because we as we live, we figure things out. I'll share that I've been really into a podcast called The Stoic. And so if anybody's familiar with Stoicism, it really does teach you to, you know, always question, am I spending my energy on the right things, right? And there are specific principles with Stoicism in terms of courage, justice, discipline, um, and these characteristics, whenever there's a crisis, you fall back on these principles and characteristics. And so for the future, I would say, I'm constantly questioning, where am I spending my energy, right? um, and so, I'm looking forward to. I recently just celebrated a birthday. So I think your daughter is in good company when, she has a birthday in May, a fellow Korean. Um, we are very stubborn people. But we are fierce fighters, right? And so I would say, for the future, I think, spending time doing things that I love. Um, I've always gravitated to that. I don't like to waste time. I don't like to spend time doing things that are exhausting and not feeding me. Um, and so I think that I've been very blessed to work at a place that I love. I'm doing a job that I absolutely love. That I'm also doing outside of work. So like doing the summit is like managing a project. Um, and so again, for the future, for me, it's always questioning where my energy is going and am I spending time doing the right things.
Did you celebrate a graduation recently?
So my youngest is 20. And he recently joined the Air Force. And so he just graduated. Well, so there were two graduations. He did basic training, and was successful through that. And then he just did his tech. He just did tech school. So he is doing bioenvironmental engineering.
Co-host?
Yeah, after listening to Miss Verlene, it's very, very impressive. Clearly, she's a good example of a person who is on that journey to accomplish, you know, full aspects of being a human being and the best version of herself. I really appreciate the values and the works and so on. Particularly, I note with concern that it's not just about yourself; it's also about working with others and finding ways that you can work together to make things better. Because that's part of becoming the best version of yourself.
You know what
It's
I heard her say?
uh,
That she's as good a leader, that she is a leader, but
yes,
she's
yes, yes.
also equally good at following.
Right,
Would
right,
you
right.
would you would you would you follow a fool? I wouldn't.
No,
N-
certainly not. Certainly not. That's
Somebody who's incompetent, I would.
no, 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 no. Certainly,
I'm a smart ass.
yeah,
And I don't walk away from saying that.
yeah,
I was born a smart ass, but I'm one of them. I'm
yeah,
looking at someone who has no ceiling. Like us, human beings are born without a top line.
yes,
Only animals have a ceiling.
yeah,
If you ask a dog, what do you want to become? That's a foolish question. It doesn't have a choice. It can it can only become a full-fledged dog.
yeah.
But Miss Pitts, wow, wow. Um, she will only become full-fledged whenever she's dead. So you go ahead. Sorry to have interrupted. You go ahead with your assessment, your take of what you heard her say.
Well, it clearly demonstrates that she is one of those persons who are able to uh, first know thyself, self-awareness,
Yes, 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 yes.
and your purpose, and don't be afraid to take up the challenges. Um,
Well, I would like to hear her tell us a little bit about Stoicism. I studied philosophy. I have a first degree in theology. I would like for her to tell us about her you know her system of spirituality, how she teach us a little bit about that. Can you do that for us, Miss Pitts?
Well, so it's a journey, right? I'm learning, and and just picking up behaviors and habits um from stoicism that I think are very, very helpful. Um so the Stoics are big on daily reflection. And so I think early on, I used to journal a lot. And so for me, all my years through elementary school and high school and college, I can actually go back and read um, almost like what happened every single day. And I don't remember when quit journaling like that. Um, but I don't journal like that as much any day, every day. Um, but I do um, at the end of the day reflect and just, think about what happened, um, and um, question, hey, did I respond properly? Did I react properly? Um, and then, at the beginning of the day, just try to think about how you want to plan out the day, um, visualize things going the way that you want it to go. So a lot of that I'm getting, it's not deep meditation, but it is paying attention, and it's pausing in the moment and reflecting, right? With so that you can move through your day with intention. um I find that when you don't have an intent, which really, are goals, right? um you probably could be bounced around throughout the day, or you may find yourself reacting um more than you really should be. So that's a lot of energy when you're having to play defense in life,
yes, yes,
um, rather than when you take more of a creative spirit and you're the one authoring, and moving through the world, making things happen, the way where you're more in offense. You're creating, and it's a lot of control. One of the things that the Stoics talk about is the dichotomy of control, right? Um, and as I mentioned, at the very beginning, I'm a Garifuna woman, and one of the things that you would know about Garifuna people is that we are resilient, right? And so when we think about our past of near genocide, um, and when I reflect on Stoicism and the idea of controlling what you can control, right? and you know, and making sure that you are resilient and controlling the things that you can control around you. All of it for me resonates. So that's what I can, you know, those are some of the things that resonate with me about stoicism. I don't
In
know,
other
you can,
words,
Percy, you may be, I mean, based on what you've studied, I'm happy to learn
well,
more about stoicism from you too.
no, not at all, not at all, not for me. I merely stay meditative 24/7, having established a consecrated space here within myself. So that's all I do. Um, I don't pray except to, you know, be grateful. It's useful for that to make supplication. I don't beg from God though. I don't, I don't beg, but you know that prayer is useful for that. Um, to yeah. So I listen like you do. I listen. I listen. That's how perception grows when you listen. So I listen. Um, and I hear what God has to say. Now, these these summits, diaspora summits, we're going on the third one. Start from the
Yes.
top and comb this thing. Where did this vision come from? These Belize diaspora summits. Give us the whole enchilada, please.
Yes, man, it sounds very interesting, very interesting, these summits. I myself, like you, Percy, wants to know much about it because a lot of Belizeans are abroad and we need to benefit from that experience that they have and how can they come back to help us in this country to make things better and make lives better. So I like to, like you, hear some of what is going on in that particular.
So background would be years, I mean, even before I even moved to the States, you had people like Bert Tucker, um
Oh,
and a group of people that um, were very active in the diaspora and had a vision of making sure that there's a connection, right? And that there are transferable skills and that Belizeans, wherever they are in the world, remain connected to Belize, and there's a give and take, a back and forth, a reciprocity that can happen in different areas to help to continue nation building, right? Just because you are not in Belize does not mean that you do not care about what happens in Belize. Many people have plans to retire, to return and retire in Belize, and want to continue to contribute. And so there was a genesis there of coming up with way to connect with leadership in Belize. And I know that uh, there's a couple people in throughout the 80s and 90s that continued it. Then there is Devin, Michael, what's Devin's last name? Young, that had a vision to pick up this diaspora summit. And he teamed up with Ariel Lightfoot and Rishma Eckert, Rishma Suknandan Eckert. And they took up the mantle and decided to resurrect this diaspora summit. And 2 years ago, Ariane Rishma asked me to hop in and help to shape the summit. And so I've been involved with it, and like I said, it's an iterative process, right? Like the main goal of the summit is to be able to have that reciprocity. Belizeans are here, abroad, and still need access to certain services that Belize offers, right? So passport renewal, birth certificate, anything with vital statistics. Sorry. Um, how many of us may have incorrect names on our birth certificate and things that need to be corrected? Um, and some of those things affect people here who may be in the process of getting citizenship, right? And so those services like birth certificate, passport, like I said, anything with vital statistics, their land transactions. People may have inherited land, people may have purchased land. And so when you return to Belize and you are on vacation and you have to take 5 days out of the 7 days that you're vacationing to go to the lands department and to figure out whatever it is you need to figure out with the land, it's time consuming. And there's a reason in Belize when you go somewhere, people always ask you get through, because more than likely you're not get through. And so so those become, multiple trips, right? And so being able to offer those services, the lands department, immigration, some banking services come, right? Credit unions, that type of stuff. When we have the summit, these services are offered for people in the diaspora. And so it's an opportunity for them to attend and get their transactions done, get documents updated, corrected, what have you. And then we also have panel discussions throughout the day where we are discussing different topics that we believe we can contribute to. There's an exchange that can happen. So, like last year's summit, we spoke about education, and we had some professors from top tier universities, Belizeans that are professors here in the States, at top tier universities that we paired with UB. We had Dr. Vincent Palacio and his staff. He brought other professors, and they were able to go ahead and talk through some of the things that UB is trying to accomplish. And so that pairing is powerful. We also had people who are here in the States in the medical field, and people from Belize in the medical field. And oftentimes you may see people raising funds to have surgery or different things, and or people here that they're sending equipment that hospitals here, they may be out of, what do they call it, like, like when you have to replace your laptop. There's nothing wrong with your laptop, but they're new ones. And so the old ones maybe can be donated to a school. Well, the same thing happens with hospital equipment. I can't think of the right term for when it's reached its life cycle, but it's still very good. It's still, and people here may have access to it and donate it to Belize. So things like that happen. But when that is happening, the amount of red tape or the amount of the level of difficulty to make transactions like that happen is super high. And so it may be discouraging for people. And so at the summit, we have these discussions and we talk through how do we remove these barriers? Because sometimes people in Belize, the people in position to open the way for it to be a smooth transition where you're receiving this stuff, might not even know that these are the issues and these are the different barriers to making that process a smoother process. Um, and so we talk through things like that. Um, this year's summit, one of the things that we want to do, because we can always have really good discussions, really meaningful discussions, but then the outcome, right?
You follow through.
It might not be there. So everybody feels good. Everybody understands, oh, this networking was great. Pictures are taken. And then it may feel like everything dropped the water. So we, for this year, want to be even more intentional in the discussions that we have and then have measurable outcomes so that next year's summit, we can pull a thread through and say, coming out of last year, these are the things that we were able to go ahead and accomplish. And so we don't think that, you know, everything will be perfect, but the intention to be able to come up with objectives and then measurable outcomes so that we can
Well,
give ourselves a report card at the end of it and say, we said we want to do this, this, and this. And
let
we
me
get
ask you this.
this accomplished and then half of this. That's good for us.
I You brought up his name, and co-host, you used to come to my office. So you saw Bert Tucker, ambassador, the late, next door to my office. So we compared notes a lot. He started the diaspora incentive program online, you know, where Belizeans desirous of becoming home because they have the option. And it is for Belize to give them good incentives. And so the program is about you want to bring a new vehicle or a boat, you want to bring your tools, you know, tools of trade, you want to bring your um, used goods, here, these are incentives. But my question to Ms. Pitts is this. When you are coming down this July, last week, 24, 25, I think you said 26, have you set up a negotiation table? And you're looking at the former labor commissioner there, one of the country's foremost negotiators of the past, Attorney Ivan Williams. Have you set up a negotiation session with the government, GOB? So you sit across and negotiate what diaspora wants, or to refresh. Have you set that up? Because that needs, to my mind, that is about the follow through now of these good discussions. Your thoughts?
So the Diaspora Summit is done in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Affairs. I think it might be a longer name. Um,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and so last year's summit, we made an attempt to come up with a diaspora policy, right? Where we wanted to outline, again, because it's a give and take, right?
Uh-huh.
We wanted to outline what is the policy that the government of Belize has for the diaspora, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there are things that we bring to the table, but things that we are also asking for. And there are things that Belizeans at home bring to the table, and the things that Belizeans at home are asking for. And so there's an opportunity there, indeed, to negotiate. It's a lot tougher than just talking through it. And so there has to be appetite on both sides to be able to come up with a formal policy that outlines, the how the government sees the diaspora.
I
So
understand that.
it,
I
it's
understand that.
it's ongoing, but
I
there's no
understand that.
specific negotiation table that's been set up to go ahead and do that. I think that we continue to work towards
Well,
fleshing out a
you see,
policy.
my co-host and I, we, you know, we shoot, we shoot them straight. The reason is I believe the diaspora are underappreciated. They haven't given them the vote, Ivan. Hello.
Well, I was going to that, but before that, I think the importance of negotiating is very important, so that you can come out with something that you can hold on to, some
Tangible. Tangible.
some written document or something, because talk and talk and talk could be easy, sounds good, and when you left, you're still having the same challenges,
Mm,
issues, persons
after all the
who
good food and
no,
wine.
you can't find the right person to talk to, and you said all kind of red tapes and all kind of things still
Mm,
continue to happen. So you have
mm.
to formalize many of the discussions into something tangible,
Yeah.
and both
And
sides,
sign the bloody MOU. Sign the
and,
MOU.
and sign
Please, man.
some document. I find that very very important, so that
No, no,
yeah,
because the Musa administration signed a 10-point agreement with the Mayans. Why
yeah.
can't we sign an agreement with the diaspora? Now I'm
Agreed.
saying to you, okay, and I'm happy to hear the collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism.
And diaspora
To
relations.
set up, and to help sponsor perhaps. I don't know. Because diaspora is rich, it don't need resources. It has. As a matter of fact, man, the remuneration, I mean, what you call the thing there? It used to be you lick the stamp and
Remittances.
you send the thing there, box barrel. Hello.
Remittances.
Remittance. Aha. Thank you. So I'm saying we thrived, we depended, we looked out for that. When my older sister Yvonne, my younger brother Paul, both in diaspora at the moment, they took care of our mom, she passed, and then we brought her home 2 years ago and we laid her down in Danviga. And we graduated, we graduated 8th grade, standard 6, we call it, yeah. Same time, 7th half down there in Danviga. Man, we the wait for this money other. For my sister Jackie, God bless the. Wow, the thing come late. It come very late. Then I know she already graduated standard 6 same time. It finally come. So we breathe, we're fresh. So now me ma, he asked me, sister, now what you want? Because we never buy no shoes. We needed shoes. My sister gone for the high heel. He asked me what I want. I gone for the boots. By the time me and my sister done make with choices, and no more money there for Paul. Sorry, Paul. So you know what? Paul are a lot of smart ass. He's an engineer out there in Philip. about to retire and come home. So Paul tell my mom, where am I? So my mom cut a cardboard, a full Paul shoes. You know the shoes had a big hole. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's how Paul graduated. You know? My mom got creative and cut out some cardboard and pull the hole in the shoes. Nobody know that man. Nobody study that man. And I am saying that the same thing our guest is saying. I believe in her other in my other words, it's going to go to the next level because the prime minister has to listen and enable this process. Elevated from beyond the Ministry of Tourism now and put a negotiating team to meet with the diaspora when it comes here, July, a couple months from now. A negotiating team that has authority to negotiate and to sign an MOU. No, because the services, I mean, they are saying they are getting services, but not to quite to the level that. Am I hearing wrong, Miss Pitts? Am I
Well,
hearing wrong?
in terms of what?
In terms of your satisfaction, the diaspora satisfaction with their treatment from the government, any government. We're not talking politics, but the Belize as a whole, their country, their home country, their
Yeah,
born
so
country, native country, whatever.
And
so
are you still having problems with doing transactions, getting things done, and so on?
yeah, so there's always going to be where processes can be improved, right? Um, and I think the goal is to always try to make it faster and better and quicker. Um, but also, I don't know if dissatisfaction is necessarily the term that I would personally use. I think that we've looked at other countries that benefit from their diaspora,
Ah,
and um and then how the diaspora benefits from their home country,
yes.
and we see the delta, we see the difference, right, in how other countries may be doing it versus
Okay.
how Belize is doing it.
Yes.
And so our energies are put towards how do we improve ours, right? So for example, Jamaica, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
When we look at their diaspora policy, um,
Okay.
they actually utilize their diaspora, right?
Okay.
So Jamaicans overseas are used by the Jamaican government to market
Okay.
Jamaica,
Okay.
to
Okay.
market
Okay.
Jamaica, right? So
Yes.
there's no Jamaican that you will see. I'm in South Florida, so this is the Caribbean and Latin America.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but as soon as you meet a Jamaican, right? I mean, people just naturally may say, "Yeah, man."
Yes. 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 Yes.
there are
Yes.
specific things, right,
Okay.
that
Okay. Okay.
people in the diaspora that are Jamaicans are able to help to market and promote Jamaica because their government uses specific things, right,
Tools.
for
Yes.
for that to happen. For
Yes.
years, for us in Belize, when you say Belize, you have to
Mm.
explain, oh, it's Central America and the Caribbean, and we're below Mexico and
Ah.
beside Guatemala and above Honduras. So you have to give like a quick geography lesson, and
Mm.
and all of that. And
Uh-huh.
there's opportunities where Belize can do the exact same thing of
Okay.
using the diaspora to help to promote and market Belize. So basically, we're asking, hey, make we help, right? But let's formalize an official way of how
Of
this
course,
is
of
done,
course. There,
right?
there you go. There you go. I know
And
you nail it so beautifully.
and then there's things that, because there's a give and take, there's a reciprocity, right? Then there are things
Okay.
that we also would want, right?
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and so that could be in the form of being able to vote. If I go to Belize, I can still vote in the US elections, right?
Yeah. Right from
My
here.
location does not take away my rights as a citizen,
You can vote by
right?
mail. That's true.
Um, and in in a lot of other places that, that's the case. And so, being disenfranchised
They're
is
not.
one thing.
They're not.
But also being able to still feel a part of. I think that's the that's the biggest thing, right? Coming out of Belize does not mean that you've forgotten about Belize. And so an inclusive mindset is really, to me, where that sweet spot is, right?
I know
Um,
what you are trained. You are trained. And patty cake and softball. Look. I want to call the spade the spade. Disenfranchisement. Look, let's cut to the chase. Let's cut to the chase, Miss Fitzman. Look, why don't I want to go on the vote? Do you know I have an opinion?
Well, before that,
Whether,
I
go ahead.
before I just wanted to ask, have that been on the agenda? Have there been discussions, as my co-host
what?
say? You want to, yeah, in terms of the vote, the disenfranchisement of the right to
So,
vote.
so,
Where are
so
we
again,
on that?
again, I think coming up front and asking for things that, it's to me, that would be akin to, on the first date, you're proposing marriage. You don't move too fast,
All right.
right? Like that's how I view that. I
You
think
want for
that there
you
has to
say you want for
be.
play.
I,
You man.
I would have
Hold
said
on.
courtship, but okay.
Man.
No, I see that as very, very important because the way things are going in Belize and a number of, I would say, a number of challenges we have with the voting system and a number of things that are happening. I really would want to see that day when the diaspora will be part and parcel of the whole voting process. I think it's going to make a big change in the way we do things
Yeah.
and make things better for all of
I
us.
think it's a deeper discussion. I think
Yeah.
that it's fair for people in Belize to be concerned that people in the diaspora are not on the ground and are not going to be the ones to feel every day the consequence of their vote, right? Um, and so that's, to me, very fair for Belizeans on the ground to feel, hey, uno could vote for this person, but uno not there every day for feel what then they do. And uno might not know enough about that person. And now you're, co-signing and giving them power. So that's completely fair.
Okay.
And so I don't think that it is as simple as,
Okay.
it's as simple as, oh, just give people the vote. And I'm not saying that
Okay.
that reason is solid enough to even block it. I'm
Okay.
saying that we
Uh-huh.
have to have deeper discussions,
Fine.
um
But you
and
also
come
need
up
a
with
good
a way.
negotiator. You need an
Yes.
expert negotiator there. One is sitting at the table. My colleague,
Yes, my brother.
can I depend on you to continue the conversation with Miss Pitts on off air when we complete this program? with respect to the negotiations on that front, the disenfranchisement? Having been the labor commissioner for years. Hello.
Yes, yes, no problem. I have no
Okay,
issue.
I'm putting an asterisk by that.
Yeah,
So
it's
we continue.
one of the things that I'm particularly concerned about and would like to see it happen sooner rather than later. Yeah, it is something that I really would like to see happen.
Fine. Yeah, we have to drive this thing, so we don't have time to hash it some more on the air. But it's come up. You have the skill set. You're on the ground. A competent attorney in that specific field. Negotiations, and because Belize has to decide its policyman whether we want to grow from within or without. The triangular Guatemalan, well, we call it Guatemalan, Honduranian, Salvadorian, or we want to give better incentives for native Belizeans to return home. So that is a policy that need to be, fixed. Now, Miss Pitts, politics. Hello. Ay kopatilo. Co-host ay kopatilo. And a woman president. We almost had one in the US, didn't we?
Almost.
We almost had a first female president in the United States. Is that true?
Yeah.
And we have one on the dock here in Belize as the leader of the opposition. Is that true?
Very true too. Yeah.
Your thoughts. There must be several running through your head.
From what aspect? As far as a female?
No, you double this thing more. Me, man. I know no aspect. I mean, I mind it because you know what? My pet peeve, and I say it on air, since 1981, Belize Constitution, our supreme law of the land, give we equal rights. But yet we discriminate against women. Yeah, it says here, it's a equal, meaning that, gender. Where's the gender neutral legislation? But I don't want to talk about my issue. But that is my issue, even if I stand alone.
So I'll give you my take on it.
Please.
So here's my take on it. I feel like we are at an inflection point worldwide. And so yesterday I looked at the China US negotiation that they had, the meeting that they had. And on both sides, what we saw was on the Chinese side, about maybe 12 men or 14, somewhere there. I mean, as you looked at the long table, and it was all men. And then you looked on the US side, and they had about 12 to 14 men, all men. And it was glaring. And I don't know, why there's a rollback. But when you think about the population that they represent and the power that these countries have, to not have any female representation at that table was absolutely glaring and alarming. And then here's what I'll say in terms of women and leadership. One of the things that I do at work, in managing projects and coming up with processes, is change management. And I spent some time in Belize doing change management as well. And one of the tools in change management is storytelling, right? And human beings are natural storytellers, and we're natural story listeners, right? If somebody comes home and says, "How was your day?" It's a story that you'll tell, right?
Mhm.
It will have characters, it will have uh, uh, place, location, time. So it will have a setting. It's going to have whatever happened that was exciting or not, or dramatic. It'll have a climax and it will have a denouement. It will have an ending, right? That's just naturally how we structure how we speak. And that climax is really where the story lives, right? Nobody says boy meets girl, they got married happily ever after, story done. That's a boring story. Something
Well,
has to happen, right?
yeah,
So something has to happen,
I
right?
know. I
Glass
wish we had
slippers
more
have to
time.
get lost. You have to search the whole kingdom. Something has to happen. So I'm saying that because we are emotional creatures. Human beings have to have an element of emotion. There has to be empathy. There has to be something has to move you,
I want in the
right?
whole of the jar. In the whole of the jar.
Yeah. No, no, it's very, very interesting conversation. I have a little part I want to
so
contribute to. Yeah.
so something has to move you, right? And so at work, if I am giving a story about numbers, data, 50% of this, 10% of this, whatever, this needs to move, people don't care about numbers. There
Uh-huh.
has to be some type of emotion, something to move you as a human being for you to get behind something. And so I said all that to say that a
Ah,
lot of times women are told or are led to believe, or it is always said that women are too emotional, right? And that's absolutely our strength and our superpower of being able to satisfy that emotion that human beings need to feel to be able to move the needle on things that the world needs. So I think we missed out with not having a female president ever in the US,
oh, you answer
right?
me question.
Come full
You answer
circle
me.
with it now. Because a lot of the times people will say women are too emotional, right? However, emotions is really what human beings need, right? Things cannot be sterile. Things cannot be uh, just without emotion and empathy, right? Um, and and so I really would want women to lean in more on that emotional quotient to really use it as the super as their
And
superpower.
I want to lean on the vote. Yeah, I believe that more woman than man upon the voters list. I want to lean on the vote.
Well,
But what I'm saying is that you're absolutely right. I mean, you are. You nailed it perfectly. Um,
if I may make a little
go
contribution
ahead,
there,
co-host. Go ahead.
I think that it is not a situation of women not having the competency and women not being there, because everywhere you go, when I was in the university in the West Indies, in Jamaica and Barbados, and all my training, there have always been more women in the classroom than men, 10 to 1. So there are more women out there who are with ambitions and who are getting the relevant education and training. Okay, so I think that there's a whole cadre, there's a whole list of potential women. But in my view, women don't want to get into some of the bad things that politics brings. Okay, because it's a game that, in my view, they don't want to get themselves.
We will
Yes,
have to put it. We will have
let
to.
me hear you. Let me hear you on that, because
Fair point.
Well,
Fair
no.
point.
On the point that in the spirit realm there's no gender. You
right,
see
as
what
far as
spirit
I'm
that got
concerned,
gender? Hello. Do
I
you see a
agree.
spirit that has gender?
I agree that it is not about gender
No,
because
this is not. I'm not. I know. I am making a statement now. I'm making
no,
a statement,
yes,
and I'm saying. And after this, Miss Pitts, we wanted to sum up by giving us your future, where you see yourself going. But our spirit has no gender. The Constitution says equal rights.
yeah,
We are not enjoying it. It is discriminatory against women. Those are the discussions we need to be having. Why, when a woman is walking up the street, you need to, or an individual for that matter, you're curious about what they have under the skirt or under the pants. That is none of your business. The only place gender has a place is in your bedroom and down bathroom. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. The size of the brain for a man is no different from the size of the brain for the woman. Get over yourself. We don't need to have no distinction about that. We are one and the same, created equal. And the Constitution gives us equal damn rights. Don't pee me off now. Don't pee me off.
yes, but
Jump right up to that. Jump right up to that.
I am trying to
Distinguished people,
unravel.
no, not you. I'm saying I'm making a statement now. Miss Pitts, you will get your closing. You will get your chance to make your closing argument. Miss Pitts, your future. Where you see yourself. Where you see yourself. No, Mr. This and Mr. That. No, this. You. Where you see yourself in the future.
You know, and I think I said it at the beginning, and so you know, if it bears repeating, I think that there's just continuous improvement, right? And so for me, it is again questioning, how did I do today, and how do I improve for tomorrow? In terms of professional, for me, Progressive provides me with everything that I completely enjoy in terms of managing projects, in terms of coming up with processes, and it easily lends itself to things that I'm passionate about outside of work. And so the two marry well. And so I think that because the industry I'm in, insurance, is something that it's not a commodity that you want, it is what you absolutely need. It's regulated by the state, and so you have to have it. And so it is generally a safe industry with AI. With AI coming into our lives daily at work, there is a threat there. But where I am is, if I were to think of it as a ship, I am at the bow where I can actually see the waves, right? And so that allows me to position myself in a way to take it on. A lot of the processes that I help to implement enterprise-wide for the company have to do with AI. And a lot of it sometimes may be removing different levels of work for people. And so I'm seeing a shift in what and how people contribute at work.
Miss Pitts,
Yes.
respectfully, you will have another minute.
Uh-huh.
And my colleague there, who is very hungry, he's hungry. He will have the last word. I work with the U.S. Embassy, beginning with the first ambassador, Malcolm Barnaby. They took me away from Price and Company, Nigel Price, the wing commander, who owned it before he sold it for $1, I believe, to Mr. Esquivel, the late Prime Minister. And After I moved on, I went there with somebody for a visa. And their behavior to my mind was, well, what I expected. In those days, I used to have expectation, was unbecoming. So I went back, I returned home, and I bring back all the accolades that I have gotten over the years for going beyond the call of duty and so on, and I slam it on the table. Yeah, out of attitude here, where anger, whatever. Because I considered the US Embassy to be very ungrateful. I said that to say, Miss Pitts, your 1 minute coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't progressive a means to an end? In your life, and well, they may be listening, but what I'm trying to say, economics, yeah, economics fine, but Miss Pitts, where will this end? Before you and I close our eyes and the good Lord say, okay, that's it. How will this end for Miss Pitts? Where is this going? Where is the promised land?
Well, again, that's not something that any of us would know. I don't I control what I can control.
Okay.
Right? Going back to stoicism. And again, for me, it's just about self-improvement, and I take it day by day. So to be able to go ahead and outline, and at the end of the tunnel, to give you that, I have to raise my hand.
Is that your last word?
I don't have
Is that your last word? Is that your last word?
I don't have it. Yeah.
For what? For what? Now you clinch.
Well, I am one of those persons who strongly believe that it's not about men and women. There is equality. There should be equality. There should be no discrimination, right? And so it is left up to the individual to want to go in that direction, or to see whether that is their niche. Okay. I know that there's an organization that was formed called Women in Politics. And I think they were doing a fantastic job. I don't know where they are right now in terms of encouraging, right, more participation by women, because it's always looked at and thought about. Mm-hmm. And I think it is that kind of, whatever the obstacles are or whatever the challenges are, that we need to work through that. As soon as we work through that, we should be able to have more participation by women in politics. And that's the reason why I was saying that the way the dirtiness of politics and the way it is handled, particularly in Belize, it's discouraging, and a lot of women don't want to. And so we might even have to look at changing these things. And that's the reason why I look forward to the diaspora. If we can find ways and means how we can change certain...
Take the dirt out of politics?
I don't think so. I think it's a fair point. Well, I think it's a fair point, but I don't think that I don't agree that women don't want to.
Okay.
I think that there is a barrier because, and so I agree with your assessment of the nasty things that happen in politics is a barrier, but that does not make women not want to. Okay. I think that there's tons of women in politics in Belize. In fact, they're the machinery behind the men when it comes to campaigning and getting the vote out and doing the heavy lifting. A lot of the men that you see that win, you look behind them and you will find women that know exactly what they're doing and what it takes to win. So they are in politics. They're just not.
Why does the woman have to be behind the man?
Yeah, it's a problem.
No, hello, no.
I agree with you. I agree
Respectfully.
100%.
You the leader, man. The
Yes.
leader is not born. No leader born. No leader born. I look. Leaders emerge.
Yes.
One, the one who could see the farthest of the leader, because leaders sit on a perch, and then are visionaries. And two, the one who get it first. Not that everybody else now get it, you know, but the one who get it first. So, oh, that's how we forgo. That's how we forgo. That's the leaders.
Agree.
Natural, natural, natural. You know why we are having so much um, abuse? Because you got a lot of force right leader. Force right. Then they tell them say you're bound for lead. You know about it, bound for lead. Anyhow, because of my rude interruption, we have to go back to Miss Pitts for the last word. Last word.
I thought I did the last word already. Um, I don't know. I think, listen, I've enjoyed chatting with you both, and the future is I have to resort to cliches now. Is is for us to go after and enjoy. Um, I am an optimist, so I always picture and envision only good things, and I control what I can control. So the bad things, if it's outside of my control, I take that angle of just we have to deal with it, right? Um, and I would encourage people to uh, always do what makes you happy, right?
Okay.
One of the things for me that I admire about America is the principle of the pursuit of happiness. Um, and while I think that there is a lot of joy in Belize, um, I don't know if when we look at the beauty that's around in Belize, I have a lot of people that visit Belize and they're just in awe of the beauty. And I don't know if I saw the other day that it said Belize was one of the happiest countries. And I thought it was very strange because when I go to Belize, uh, a lot of the times they're just like micro things that get me so upset. And so for me, it's the pursuit of happiness. And so that's why I try to give back and contribute so much to Belize, because I want the two things to meet. When I'm in Belize, I want to be able to continue to pursue happiness.
Well, um, there is no right, no wrong. There is no good, no bad. God only created good. And we've had Miss Pitts, in her own words, Miss Verlene Pitts, giving us an excellent presentation, like no other. And so, Miss Pitts, in your pursuit of becoming the very best version of yourself, we wish you the absolute best. And in this upcoming summit, here's hoping that you extend the invitation to my colleague and I.
Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely. So the site is the Belize Diaspora Summit.com. Go on there. You'll see the dates, their tickets to purchase. There's a call for people who want to have booths, because we'll have where businesses can share information about what they're doing. People who may be selling things can come and display and sell their wares and their offerings, their products. Um, and then we are going to have panel discussions and then also business mixers. So David Mullins from Jamaica, he
Mhm.
is very involved with the Jamaica diaspora. He will be a guest speaker.
Okay.
Um, there is Mr. Samaru from Guyana.
Mhm.
He is into dairy farming and doing a lot of big things in Guyana. He is also a special guest. Um, and so we're looking to learn from these people and network. Um, we have the Ministry of Tourism that's going to be there. Immigration will be there. Vital statistics will be there. Lands will
Mm.
be there.
Mm.
And then we also have cultural presentations on the third day, just to savor Belize, right? That's the theme, savor
Yes.
Belize. And when you think of savoring something, you don't want to rush with it. You just really want to nibble on it and take it in and taste all the flavors.
Yes.
So, again, it's going to be Belizeans from here in the diaspora and Belizeans at home coming together, networking and savoring Belize.
Yes. On that note, we want to thank Miss Verlene Pitts for her excellent presentation. I also, well, my co-host, I don't usually thank him on air, but we put up with one another. We
Yes,
spar and then we good. We good, right, my colleague?
certainly. I mean,
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
share the same views you have expressed. I think
Yeah.
Miss Pitts is a very, very good example. I'm happy that she accepted to come on the show because we're looking for people who can help us to instill in people, right? This idea of becoming the best version of themselves. Yeah.
Thank you once again, Miss Pitts.
Thank you. Thank
We
you
hope
both.
this is not the last time we will have you on the show.
Let's see what the future holds.
There you go. Warm regards to you and your family.
All right.
Okay.
Same here. Thank you.
Okay.